tough immigration law just isn't working out. Most immigration workers left, so this farmer hired Americans. Problem is, he says, most show up late, work slower, and are ready to head home after lunch. Some even quit after just one day out in the field. And farmers say many Americans are not physically fit and simply don't work fast enough.
Many of our local farmers are dependent on immigrant labor to pick their crops every day. And that's the produce you and I are buying in the grocery store. But many of the men I spoke with agree that immigrants need to be legalized in some form or fashion. Several of the farmers I spoke with today off camera say the inconsistency of the immigration law is already hitting their business. They told me workers are simply moving to states who do not have immigration laws, and they say that could jeopardize farming.
So now that I have fallen down this rabbit hole, I just jumped on to Twitters, and I got an alt Twitter where I pretend to be a MAGA guy, and I saw a live, and I am not kidding you. This dude, all these dudes these farmer dudes in there, these farm owner dudes, they're saying, well, we thought the blacks would come back.
The United States depends on one thing to keep its grocery store full and its agricultural economy alive: Hispanic laborers. But as ICE Crackdown intensify in 2025, farms are empty, harvests are rotting, and America is heading towards a silent collapse. Watch and pay attention, and I will share my thoughts later.
Didn't I tell y'all that's what they thought? They thought black people were going to go get them jobs in the field. Since the migrants are gone, we ain't got no jobs, so we gonna go back in the field and pick. That's what they thought. Oops. We worked for free in this country for 290 years. We ain't picking nothing for y'all. Y'all better get y'all white folks out there and go pick them fruits and them vegetables and take care of them cattle and the chickens. We not going out there. But I made a video. I can't find the shit, damn it. But I made a video when this all started, and I said they think black people are going to go back and work in the fields. That's why Donald Trump said they are taking black jobs. They think that's what we're supposed to go do. And they're finding out real quick, black people ain't coming. Y'all can hold your breath on that one. We ain't picking shit for y'all. We will grow our own vegetables and take care of our own selves. We not going to them fields. Y'all better figure out what y'all want to do about this immigration policy and these mass deportations, or white folks, get your ass out there and go pick your own goddamn food. But we ain't coming.
Guys, fine. We're just gonna burn the fucking crops. Fuck it. Let everybody starve.
Jerry Spencer turned to unemployed Americans, but says after 2 weeks, most couldn't cope.
The farmer says, start over here and end over here. And that was the extent of their instructions. With the American workers, they all had to be taught all this and separate. And in addition to the fact that their bodies just were not built for.
No more Hispanic workers on his job site, so they called him in.
Not y'all melting. You all are like disintegrating into the rooftops and cement. Like, you voted for Trump so that he could take immigrants out to get jobs back that you never had. And you're dissolving outside in this heat. Y'all should have went for corporate jobs. Go take them out. Go take them out, because you all gonna go extinct at this rate.
Well, thanks to the big orange gremlin looking motherfucker, multiple farms in Texas just shut down overnight. Why? Because ICE raids made nearly 100% of the workforce completely vanish. People ran, got detained, or flat out got scared to death and never came back. Dairy farms are in panic mode right now. Cows gotta be milked every 8 hours. And guess what? Nobody's showing up to milk these fuckers, folks. This isn't some Texas problem either. This is happening across the entire nation. ICE isn't just out here enforcing some bullshit laws. They are actively crippling our food systems with fear and chaos. You want to talk about consequences? This ain't just about politics anymore, y'all. It's about what's on your table, what's in your fridge, or what's about to be missing from your fucking store. These Nimrods aren't saving America. They're starving.
I get the question all the time, why don't I hire Americans? Why do we bring H2A workers to work on our farm here in Idaho and in Oregon? The simple answer is we can't get the workers. But how do we make sure that we're not taking jobs from American citizens. What is it we do to protect those people? And what is the net cost to us as farmers when we're done? So first of all, we have to run radio ads. We have to put print ads. We have to let people know the jobs that we have available, because we have to make sure that the folks that we bring from Mexico aren't taking a job from American. But you know what? No American ever calls. No American ever shows up. When we bring H2A workers, it actually costs us more, probably 20 to 25% more. It's a penalty that we have to pay. They call it AWAR, Adverse Effect Wage Rate, okay? The AWAR means that we have to pay a 20% tariff or penalty for bringing people from outside of the country because they don't want us to do that. So if you see a farmer using ag workers, H2A workers, just know that they're paying a penalty for doing so. A penalty to such a degree that they would be more than happy to have American workers if they could get them. That's why we are so grateful for the guys that are willing to come and do the work here on the farm. We can't do this without them. And we can't do this with people in our local communities a lot of the time, because when we ask, they don't come.
We're here. We are here at the FAFO stage. This is really bad. And if you appreciate my content, please engage with this video. I'm just going to read this to you. Multiple Texas farms shut down after almost 100% of workforce vanishes overnight. In a stunningly swift overnight change, some Texas farm operations had to shut down after losing virtually all of their workforce, an exodus triggered by the increase in immigration raids and increased enforcement. The ripple effects of these raids are the gift that keeps on giving and will be felt nationwide. Unpicked crops are now left unharvested. Livestock were left untended, and rural economies are on edge. The story isn't just a tale of woe for Texas farms, it's a warning for American agribusiness, food prices, and communities that keep food on our plates. I need you to share this with every Republican you know. And you don't even need to wait for their response. They just need to know what's happening. And this is part of my line of work. I deal with commercial farmers, including these small farmers, as clients. And I cannot tell you how this is the beginning of the complete collapse of our economy under this Project 2025 administration that doesn't know what they're doing. You talk about the immediate shuttering of farms, because this is actually what's happening with the food, with the harvests that are lying there completely rotting. That is a loss of food to local food distributors, local grocery stores, local restaurants, hospitals. They sell their harvests, all sorts of vegetables, to businesses within the state of Texas. This is where you can go into your local grocery store, and now you're going to see hardly any vegetables or fruit, depending on what they're growing, or a shortage of meat. This is what's going to happen. Now, all of the other industries that support farming, you've got local pesticide, herbicide, fertilizer suppliers that are just, their sales are going to plummet. These farmers aren't going to be purchasing that. You've got H2A workers who are now gone, migrant workers who are now gone. They were paying taxes. Even if they didn't have social security numbers, they were given tax numbers, tax ID numbers. So now you got millions of dollars just poof, gone overnight from these Texas communities. You've got trucking companies that are hired to haul the produce from the farms to the packaging plants. You've got packaging plants who wash the vegetables, grade the vegetables, pack the vegetables, whose sales are going to plummet. Now you're going to have other industries who don't employ either migrant workers or H2A workers who are going to have layoffs.
If there was ever a time to be extremely alarmed at what is going on in the background of politics, it will be now, especially after what Donald Trump just said out of his own mouth regarding the detainees or immigrants that have been taken into custody by ICE and what they plan on doing to them and with the ones that are needed for our leisure industry, which would be hotels, etc., and for the farmers, and how he wants them to take responsibility of them. But if you don't know what that means, I'll roll the clip and then explain it to you afterwards.
Criminals out of our country, and we're looking at doing something where in the case of good reputable farmers, they can take responsibility for the people that they hire and let them have responsibility, because we can't put the farms out of business, and at the same time we don't want to hurt people that aren't criminals. Most of the people that came in over the last 3 years under Biden, those people, you have a lot of criminals, you have a lot of, we're looking at that very closely.
Now, as someone's ancestors who were taken responsibility of by people in order to produce tobacco, cotton, and other major industries that perpetuated the whole entire United States into what they are now, I want you to know that that is exactly what it sounds like, but I will not say it because I do not want to get a violation. That is a part of the Constitution, one that we just celebrated on the 19th, people that look like me, that says another person cannot own another person, nor take responsibility for them. So for your president of the United States to basically arbitrarily say that he's going to allow certain people to stay in the USA under responsibility of a farmer, the South African farmers that were just bought here, okay. One of the saddest things to be a part of ever in my life as far as where I live. And I want y'all to know that when they told people to get out, I'm starting to see they fucking meant it. I came on here a little while ago and said that for some reason the Lord told me to watch the movie Roots, the real show Roots, the one that began the entire Roots collection. And I asked y'all, what would stop them from doing this today? And now we know nothing. And now we know I was right. I need y'all to just let all the bullshit, streamer university, all that shit go and pay attention to what is going on in politics. Politics is getting fucking scary.
Did President Trump just admit that maybe he's gone too far when it comes to his aggressive ICE and immigration raids?
You know, they have very good workers. They've worked for them for 20 years. They're not citizens, but they've turned out to be, great. And we're going to have to do something about that. We can't take farmers and take all their people and send them back because they don't have maybe what they're supposed to have, maybe not. And you know what's going to happen and what is happening? They get rid of some of the people because, you go into a farm and you look and people they've been there for 20, 25 years and they've worked great and the owner of the farm loves them and everything else. And then you're supposed to throw them out, and you know what happens? They end up hiring the people, the criminals that have come in, the murderers from prisons and everything else. So we're going to have an order on that pretty soon, I think. We can't do that to our farmers, and leisure too, hotels. We're going to have to use a lot of common sense on that.
Now that is an incredible pivot from President Trump on his hardline immigration stance. He initially said he would focus on deporting the illegal criminals in this country, but obviously that scope has expanded to getting out everyone who is here in this country illegally. Trump has said this hardline immigration stance is why he was elected. He says this is part of the mandate that voters gave him. But the change he talked about today is a brand new tone. And he didn't just say it at that live event at the White House. Earlier today, he also said it on his social media account. In that post, he talked again about the farmers in the hotel and leisure industry, which generally relies on immigrant labor. And it just so happens that a lot of those laborers are not in this country legally. Trump said in his post that his aggressive policy is taking very good long-time workers away from farmers and business owners in the hospitality and leisure industry. He ends his post by saying, changes are coming. Now, what do those changes look like? We don't know. Trump did mention something about maybe signing an executive order that's coming very soon, but he gave no other details. The other question is, what about the migrant laborers who are here in this country, who are here illegally and are working in other industries like the fashion industry or other hardworking migrants who have been in this country for years and don't have papers but are still paying taxes? What about all of them? Would they be included? we'll just have to wait and see if Trump is really going to change his immigration policy and pull back on who exactly ICE can round up and deport, or if perhaps he's just saying this right now to try and calm the tensions flaring up around.
For decades, Hispanic immigrant workers, both documented and undocumented, have been the invisible backbone of America's farming industry. From sunup to sundown, they have picked up your strawberries, packed your spinach, and harvested your apples. Yet, despite being essential, they are also the most targeted, and now the consequences of pushing them out are eating hard. Under renewed immigration enforcement in 2025, ICE has escalated workplace raids, deportations, and detainment, particularly in agricultural hubs like California, Texas, and Georgia. The result, entire farms are short-staffed. Crops are going unharvested, prices at your local grocery store going way up. Let's be honest, there is no replacement workforce waiting in the wings. Most American citizens will not take these back-breaking jobs for the wages offered. The myth that removing immigrants opens jobs for citizens, that is not playing out. Instead, it is destroying the supply chain. With fewer workers, harvests are being cut short, perishable crops are rotting, exports are declining, and small farms shutting down. America's agriculture industry contributes over $1 trillion to the U.S. economy. Without immigrant labor, particularly from Hispanic communities, that entire system begins to collapse. This is not just about economics, it is about families being torn apart. Workers who have spent years building this country now live in fear. Meanwhile, their absence has driven the entire food system into crisis. If you think deporting Hispanic workers helps America, think again. Without them, farms fail, food prices spike, and the economy suffers. It is not just an immigration issue, it is a national emergency. What do you think about the impact of ICE crackdowns on the U.S. agriculture? Should America rethink its approach to immigrant labor? Let's talk in the comments. Until next time, cheers and have a good one. Bye for now.